Yo, Saga Manga. We're sitting down today because we're going to talk about my top 15 manga of all time. I think last year I did a top 10, and I just felt like doing a top 15 because something's shifted. Something snuck in pretty high up. Not too much changed in the top 10. A couple volumes, a couple different series got in there, but we'll just get right into it and drop your top 10, top 15 in the comments. So we'll start with number 15. We'll start with number 15, and that's Kaiju number 8. Now, Kaiju number 8, if you don't know what Kaiju are, essentially like giant monsters. Think Godzilla. Godzilla is a Kaiju. And in Kaiju number 8, we follow our main character who becomes a Kaiju. Now, it's called Kaiju number 8 because there's like a force. It's like a police force. There's a Kaiju defense force. And when a Kaiju reaches a certain scale, like it's powerful enough, these Kaiju get numbered. And our main character gets turned into such a strong Kaiju that they call him Kaiju number 8 because he is the 8th like national threat Kaiju. It's really the characters and the progression of the characters. For example, there is the rich girl who her dad is like the president of the Kaiju force, and she's really strong. She's got latent abilities, but you expect her to be like the cocky girl, like the whole show or the whole manga, but she's not like that. And there's certain characters like Vice Captain Hoshino, who is super lovable. He's probably like everyone's favorite. It's really the character development in here. The fights are cool, and just the art, the drawing of the kaiju. It's just it's top tier. Like I'll show you the first page, and there is an anime out for this. Pretty good adaptation. So go and watch this. We're gonna try and keep it going decently quick. So that's all I'm gonna say about kaiju. Okay, we're gonna go number 14, and that is Hell's Paradise. Now, Hell's Paradise. This is technically a shonen, but it's a seinen. It's about Gabimaru. He is like is he called the Invincible, I think. Either way, there's a bunch of criminals and they're sent to an island that is mysterious. It's like hard to get to. Anyone that's ever sent back there is sent back dead or they don't come back. So I think is it 10 criminals? 10 of the strongest criminals go to the island, but they're accompanied by the Yamada Asaimon clan, which are a clan of like swordsmen or executioners. And this is Sagiri. She's the secondary main character to Gabimaru. And when they get to this island, it's clear that like there's supernatural things going on here, and the art in here is amazing, and just the absolute crazy fights in this series is why I enjoyed it so much. And the whole power system, it's based on Tao, and there is elemental things like water Tao is effective against earth Tao and etc. like that. And then I think there's 5 gods basically on the island. And you follow all the characters. They progress. They start to learn Tao. And the whole thing is the criminal that gets the elixir of life, which is supposed to grant immortality, they are pardoned of all their crimes. So that is the whole reason that all these criminals are going to the island. And it's really just an amazing action series. Only 13 volumes, which is something I love. It's finished at 13. And if you like just a good shonen, sword fighting, a little supernatural with some god elements, I would definitely check out Hell's Paradise. Number 13 is Gamaran. This was in my top 10 last time I did this. This is a series by Kodansha that they have refused to print in English. Last time I did this, I told you that they finally translated all of them. So all 22 volumes are translated, but they stuck in digital hell For some reason, they clearly noticed that the potential of this because it was done for like 10 years before they translated it officially. And this is actually the French volume. I ended up buying the French volume because I've been seeing like really nice French series, like special editions, all that. And French has so many series like Kingdom, etc., like that just English do not have. And I took like 4 years of French, but it was from like grade 6 to grade 9, I think. So I'm tasking myself with trying to figure out if I can read French. And so far, I'm like, it's all right. I can figure it out. And I've been using Google Translate as well while reading. It's a samurai story about there's 31 sons, the lord of this land area, whatever. He tasks his 31 sons with finding a martial arts school. The son that finds the strongest martial arts school will become the leader. I think they're called the daimyo. So Gamaran, he's part of the Ogame school. He's the son of the famous Thousand Man Slayer, and this is almost like a battle royale, but not really. But it's seriously like the amount of different weaponry that is in this series absolutely like blew me away. Super good. The ending is not exactly the best. It's a good ending overall, but it's not the ending you would want or the ending you think is going to happen. That's the only reason it gets kind of snubbed. But I mean, I like when authors kind of throw something at the ending. It's just the ending that I thought was going to happen would have been way better. But if you like samurai, you like different weaponry, there's like spears, bows and arrows, daggers, and just a really good story, good characters. It's almost reminiscent of like Rurouni Kenshin. So if you like Kenshin, check out Gamaran. Number 12, Witch Hat Atelier. Now, just looking at the cover, you would almost think kind of like slice of life, cutesy, a little like cute manga. And while it is kind of cute, there's a lot of dark backstory in this series. So Coco, she's a young girl, lives with her mother as a seamstress, and one day Kifri, a witch, witches in this story are male, female, it doesn't matter. He comes to their shop for repairs. Long story short, Coco sees how you cast magic in this world. You have to draw what are they called, like sigils. You have to draw a circle with a like design in the middle to cast magic. And Coco sees Kifri doing that one night, and a couple of years ago she was at a fair with her mother and she ran into, which she didn't know, is the brimmed caps. So the brimmed caps are witches, and they are the evil organization of this series. Coco got a book from that maid or that witch at the fair. So later that night, after seeing Kifri draw the magic, she goes into that book, and she doesn't know that these are forbidden spells. So she draws one, and as it's getting cast, Kifri gets in and grabs her out of the house right before the whole house starts to crystallize. The crystals cover Coco's mother, crystallizing her, and then the story follows Coco going with Kifri back to his atelier to learn how to wield magic. And along with 3 other young girls at Kifri's atelier, you follow the story of them learning magic and with the goal to figure out how to undo this spell. But this series, like I was saying, the brim caps, there's such a good backstory with the brim caps, and even with Kifri, we don't even fully know like his backstory. It's really darker than you'd expect. There's even, I think they're called the witches Morales, and they're like the top witches. And if you say you cast a forbidden spell or you show someone how to do magic that isn't a witch, they will like arrest you and wipe your memory. So it's a little bit more darker than you'd expect, especially looking at the covers, even looking at the art. I really like the art style, and the author's use of paneling is top tier. Number 11 is Vagabond. Now, I kind of struggle where to place this because while Vagabond, I think Vagabond is a 10 out of 10. It is a masterpiece, a master class work. Probably the best art in all of manga I've ever seen. The reason it's only placed 11 is purely like entertainment. The story is beautiful. It's good fights overall. It's just like when I'm reading Vagabond, I'm more like focused. It's almost like a historical retelling. You know, it's Miyamoto Musashi, the actual person. It's almost like a documentary almost when you're reading this. It's not, I don't know how to explain. It's not as entertaining as things I put higher on the list for me, but don't get me wrong, I still rank this a 10 out of 10 manga. Absolutely great. I just finished volume 37 the other day. These sword fights are amazing, and it's really following Musashi. He wants to become invincible under the sun. That's a big thing in this. And to do that, he just has to cut down. He thinks he has to cut down everyone to become the strongest warrior. And you follow him until eventually he gets injured. And he doesn't know what to do after he can't fight anymore. He kind of like realizes like what is the meaning of life. That's almost like an overarching plot point in this. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I can't really put my thoughts into words. For my 10th slot, it's going to be Full Metal Alchemist. I just started reading this year. I have watched the anime 3 times before reading the manga, and that is the reason I think it's not higher, because I know exactly everything that's going to happen. I mean, there's like a couple little things in here that's not in the anime, but you know, Full Metal Alchemist is such like one of the best stories ever. This is my second favorite anime of all time, so the fact I didn't put it higher is kind of crazy, but we're basing it strictly on the manga. Edward Elric, Alphonse Elric, if you don't know the series, they're young. When they were young boys, they tried to. It's all about alchemy. They try to transmute their mother back to life, and Alphonse, the younger brother, loses his entire body, while Ed loses an arm and a leg, and he transmutes his brother's soul to an suit of armor, right here. These are the brothers, and the entire series is the brothers trying to figure out how to get their original bodies back. But the use of alchemy in this, the different types of alchemy, I think such a great story. I love this author. I have a bunch of stuff by her. Currently reading Demons of the Shadow Realm. Check out Full Metal Alchemist. Number 9 is Dragon Ball, and I'm counting Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, just all of Dragon Ball. Rest in peace, Toriyama. Dragon Ball is something I also watched the anime before reading the manga, but the manga does it justice. It is just a classic series. Maybe a little bit of nostalgia in there. I did watch Dragon Ball when I was younger, but when I watched things on TV back then, I never like consistently watched things every week. So, I mean, I never fully knew the story till I was older. We came back, visited it in manga. I love it so much. I actually rebound. I don't know if you can see it in the shot. I rebound the Vizbigs into hardcovers. I have a short on my channel if you want to see that. But This series is so good. It honestly popularized tournament arcs, popularized shonen in general. Everybody knows Super Saiyan, and the fight scenes in here, great. The formula is the same pretty much throughout all of Dragon Ball. You know, bad guy shows up, Goku gets stronger, beats them. But the whole cast of characters, especially I think Dragon Ball might be the best like adventure, and then Dragon Ball Z is probably the best fighting. And Super is good. I'm still waiting for that second season. The Moro arc and the Granola arc are amazing. Just a classic shonen. If you're a fan of shonen or manga, you probably should be checking out Dragon Ball. Number 8, Black Clover. Now, Black Clover, this is a manga I took a risk on about like 1 to 20 something after reading one chapter, and it paid off because I absolutely love Black Clover. The sheer amount of different magical powers in this series alone is amazing, and the use of grimoires instead of wands is something I'm a huge fan of. I don't really like the wand magic. I watched Harry Potter and stuff when I was younger, but Asta being the main character with no magic, and Yuno being his adopted or orphan brother with a crazy amount of magic. He's very strong. Watching them both progress through the story, just get stronger and stronger, is great. They both join different factions in the Clover Kingdom. The Black Bulls is Asta's faction, and all the characters are great for the most part. Some of them are kind of annoying a little bit, and the story continues progressively to get better, in my opinion. Once we start facing the devils, if you're a fan of this, the elf flashback or elf reincarnation. I'm not sure the name of the arc. I forgot. Super cool. Asta actually talking to. I don't want to say that actually, but when he learns more about his power, I'll say that. And then the most recent volumes, where we find a completely new like power system. Great. There's a bunch of things I didn't see coming when I was reading this. Twists and turns, amazing fight scenes, great characters, great art too. Check out Black Clover if you like magic. Number 7 is going to be Vinland Saga. Now this got bumped up a little bit in the top 10, and I'll say exactly what I said last time. I love Vinland Saga. What a great story. My favorite thing about Vinland Saga is the beginning. I love all Viking shows, like the Vikings, Vikings Valhalla, The Last Kingdom. I've been to Viking museums. I'm a huge fan of Norse mythology, all of that. My favorite part was the beginning, the fighting, killing, sword battle, axes, like shield wall, like everything about Viking that I love is the brutality and the fighting and whatnot. And Vinland Saga was never meant to be strictly about that. The whole beginning was a setup for what has come. I'm caught up with this online, so I'm up to date on the chapters and progressing. Watching Thorfinn go from like a killing machine to a slave, work his ass off get free to then get a group of people and try and sail to Vinland to set up a new colony where there's no killing. Thorfinn has no enemies. It's a beautiful story. I just would have liked more battles. That's just me. I know, not a great reason for it to be lower, but another volume manga that I would rate 10 out of 10 that isn't lower on my top 15. Number 6 is Ajin Demi-Human. This and Vinland Saga actually switched places, I think, from last year. This series, I had to be true with myself. This is the series I think I've read the most. I've read this 3 times. I love Ajin. Crazy story. Absolutely insane antagonist in this series. The antagonist makes the whole series. If you don't know, an Ajin is a demi-human. So when they die, they regenerate. And no matter where they die, like the biggest part of their body that is like connected, they will regenerate from. So if they like got decapitated and their body like was crushed to pieces, they would just regenerate from the neck down. It, they don't really follow like the laws of physics or anything. And it gets so advanced that you could cut off your arm, stick it to the wall, kill yourself. And then when you regenerate, your arm will just regenerate through the wall. And because you're an Ajin, the particles will just dematerialize and there will just be a hole in the wall. And that's just one instance of a crazy use of the ability. So our main character is Ajin, and the main villain is also an Ajin, but the main villain wants rights for Ajin because the government, along with pharmaceutical companies, capture them and do inhumane experiments on these Ajin because they can't die. So it's a good way to test new vaccines, you name it. Like they're cutting them up and all that. It's pretty gruesome. But the story was so good. The first volume, there's an artist and an author. The author left the series like 5 chapters in and left the artist to continue and write and draw the rest of the series. And his name is Gammon Sakurai. This dude absolutely killed it. It's a 17-volume series. Really good. These are actually coming out in omnibuses. So if you want, I would definitely check this out. It's, people compare it to Tokyo Ghoul, but this is much better than Tokyo Ghoul in my opinion. I couldn't finish Tokyo Ghoul. I didn't care about any of the characters, but I cared about a lot of the characters in here. Number 5, Dimension W. This got knocked out of my 4 spot. Dimension W is a sci-fi where humanity found the 4th dimension, Dimension W, and in that dimension there's unlimited energy, and we harness them into coils. That's a coil right there. And our main character, which is not, this is our android that our main character goes along with. Our main character hates all coil technology, which we don't know why for a long time into the series, which you get into that backstory and it's a crazy backstory. Our main character and our android, they are partners. Our main character is a collector. He collects illegal coils. Together they go on like this mission to find out the truth behind the coils. There are certain coils that are called number coils, and these were originally given out to big companies when this energy was first harnessed, and those coils have unlimited power. So they're trying to collect these number coils. The whole adventure with these characters, the backstories are crazy, and ultimately the last villain in the last couple volumes, another great villain, great story, great characters. I highly recommend checking this one out. I also rebound the 16 volumes into 8 2-in-1s up here. Yeah, you can see them. They're the green ones right there. Great sci-fi. I want to read more sci-fi because of this series. Okay, number 4 is Kakaishi. I really toyed with putting this in the third slot, but I couldn't bring myself to knock that third slot down because I think this series is a perfect shonen. This has everything a shonen needs, and it hit every mark. You have your main character. He is a Kakaishi, which is like a guardian uh, that exterminates spirits. Him and his neighbors have been feuding who is the true like practitioner of Kakaishi, and our main character and his neighbor Tokin, they go to their school is actually a sacred site, and every night they go there to capture Kakaishi. They capture them in these cubes, and then they exterminate them. Every single character in this, I liked all of them. There was one character that showed up. I didn't like him for like a few chapters, and then I loved him. And just great characters. The factions in this, so good. Like besides the Kakaishi, there's the Night Troops. There's evil factions, whatever. All of the factions in this, so good. The story, so good. The characters, great. The art is good. Um, I think there was maybe one kind of dull moment, but that actually came back around, and everything is connected. Even the ending is very good. I think it could have used one chapter more at the end, but not necessary. It would have just been a little bit nicer to flesh it out. But still, a 10 out of 10 shonen. Too bad it came out the same time as like Bleach, Naruto, One Piece, so it got overshadowed. But if you don't know, you never heard about this, highly recommend checking out. You can read it all online on like VizApp or Manga Plus, I think. Kakaishi, number 4. Now on to the number 3 spot. Bleach almost got knocked out by Kakaishi, but ultimately, dude, I love Bleach so much. You know, literally my last figure unboxing, somebody commented like, this dude's obsession with Bleach. I am obsessed with Bleach. It's my favorite anime of all time. The Thousand Year Blood War is like going crazy. But the manga is so good. It's so good. Like, if you don't know what Bleach is, I mean, I guess I don't even need to explain. Basically, main guy is a Soul Reaper. Oh, he's a human. Finds out he has powers. And just crazy from there. The power system in this, how your sword is connected to your soul, and then you release it, and you have a Shikai and then a Bankai. Just, that was so cool when I was watching the anime, and then reading through the manga, just as good. And the manga obviously cuts out like unnecessary shit, but also has stuff that was not like adapted properly. Again, amazing characters, like probably the best antagonist out there. With, I'm not gonna say who it is, just in case you haven't read it. Um, just crazy, and then all the villains, because in the beginning, you know, the Soul Reapers are technically the villains, and then you come to like love the Soul Reapers, even though they were the villains of like the first arc technically. But then the Arrancar with the Espada, such cool releases too. Just the entirety of everything, Quincy's, Soul Reapers, even Fullbringers was cool. I know people don't like that, but what a great series, and hopefully we get the arc that shall not be named. If you're a Bleach fan, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, my number 2 manga of all time, Golden Kamuy. Dude, this manga, literally, it has everything. I'm not joking when I say, like, it has literally everything you could want in a series. And this is probably the only manga I've read, and I've actually laughed when reading. Like most manga, I'll be reading and it'll get like a and that's it. This actually is so funny. Like Shirashi, dude, what a crazy cast. Absolutely like insane things that this author thought of. The great fights, great gore, great emotional points. You got hunting, cooking, you got literally everything. The one part that I was like when I'm reading this was the how do I put this? The battle where they were shooting white stuff at each other. That was a little crazy, but dude, what like honestly such a great series. Great ending too. If you know the ending, you know. Absolutely sick. I love this so much that I've been reading Dog's Red, which is Noda's new it's a new series, but it's his relaunch of his old one. It's a hockey manga. You know, I'm Canadian. You think like I like hockey? Yeah, I mean I like hockey, but I don't watch hockey. I know how to play it. Like I mean I can't skate, but so I've been reading a hockey manga just because I love this guy so much. And what a great series! If you don't know what Golden Kamuy is, there's 30, 31, 30 prisoners, and they're tattooed. And when you skin their body and you lay out their skin together, it's a map to find this gold that was stolen and hidden away so long ago. And you follow Sugimoto and Asirpa, which is a Ainu. She's an Ainu, which this also made me learn about Ainu culture. So there's historic elements in here too. And they follow, yeah, you follow them, and then there's multiple groups trying to get the gold, and that's basically like the whole story, like the whole way through. But you know, Sugimoto's doing it for a good reason. His childhood friend is blind, and she needs medicine, or she needs medicine or like a surgery or something. But what a good series! If you're actually trying to laugh also when reading manga, check this one out. This is the only comedy in manga anime that I actually find funny. Golden Kamuy. And number one, the best manga of all time. Berserk, baby. Dude, I never watched the anime for this or anything. One day just picked it up. I knew it was like dark fantasy because I love fantasy. All the novels I read are fantasy. Where do I start with Berserk? The best story, maybe just period. Just what a good story. The art is incredible. The scale of the battles in this, like those 2-page spreads where it's a whole battlefield. Then you get into the fantasy where there's like spirits and there's all these random beasts. Then you get Guts' backstory where he was literally born out of his mother's guts when she was hanging from a tree. And then all of the bad stuff that happened to him when he was young, following Gambino. All the way up to like meeting Griffith. Everybody knows Griffith too. Even if you haven't read Berserk, you probably know Griffith. The Band of the Hawk, that whole section, that whole arc. And then the Eclipse. The Eclipse was crazy. What a what a crazy series. And then you continue on. You get into magic near the end. Just such a great series. And rest in peace to Miura. Yeah, that's number one. I mean, like, I don't even need to say anything about that. It's Berserk, baby. Number one. That is my top 15 of all time. Type your top 5, top 10, top 15, whatever you feel like Type that in the comments. And check out any of those. Those are all great series. Let me know if you check out one of these. Come back to the video and give me your thoughts on it. If you hated it, let me know why you hated it. If you liked it, type it down below. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.